What the heck is going on when you reuse Hyperlapse waypoint missions with your DJI drone? Specifically the DJI Mini 3 Pro, Mini 4 Pro or DJI Flip. In this video we've got a roller coaster ride as I try to work out exactly what the nerds at DJI have done with it, and my theory might be a little bit weird. Watch to the end as I'll be covering an alternative method for you to try if it's broken for you. It may just get you reliable and repeatable results. Oi, no sneaky skipping ahead. Waypoint Hyperlapse missions are available for your DJI Mini 4 Pro, DJI Air 3 or Air 3S and many other DJI prosumer drones. And yes, it even does it for the Flip. Wait, no snarky comment about the Flip?
Not this time.
Okay. And for those of you watching in the future, I expect the DJI Mini 5 Pro will do them as well. It would be weird if it didn't. In this video here, I took a deep dive into the 4 different hyperlapse functions that DJI provide, including waypoint missions. Go back and watch it if you like, I'll leave a link in the description. For that video, I shot and edited a section about reusing hyperlapse waypoints, but at the last minute I cut it out because I felt that it just warranted a dedicated video of its own, which you're watching now. So here's a couple of amoks from the past talking about it. And then another one from last weekend, spending 4 boring hours standing in a field on the hottest day of the year, risking dehydration and gout to get you 5 minutes of footage. Please hit the like button. Now in a previous video, when I was talking about hyperlapses, I said this. And before some of you clever people say, why don't you save your hyperlapse waypoint mission and then use it on another day? It's BORKED. DJI haven't fixed it in ages. And that was referring to the fact that whenever you create a waypoints hyperlapse, it saves that to the controller, and you would have thought that you could repeat using it. Unfortunately, it wasn't working. And this tends to happen. The aircraft travels towards the first waypoint, but for some reason it rapidly descends. And if you're not keeping an eye on it, it's going to fly into the ground, or into a person or a building, which obviously is not optimal. But I went out to the middle of this field to see if I could get it to work after the latest firmware update. Well, there have been a few firmware and software updates since then, so we're going to try it out now. Firmware that I'm using can be seen just down here. Now, I'm not going for something that looks great here. All I'm doing is doing a test to see if I can record a hyperlapse waypoint mission and then take the battery out, replace the battery in the drone, and load that hyperlapse waypoint mission back in. Waypoints, set a waypoint here. We're just going to do 2 waypoints. We'll set another waypoint there and go into the settings. We're just going to make this a 5-second length one. Let's do a reverse sequence and go for a 2-second interval and go. So that's just going to take about 4 minutes. Okay, that's created that video. And we've gone into the little notepad part here, and we can see here, this is the waypoint mission that I added today. I was having lunch with my 91-year-old step-grandmother the other day. I was talking about hyperlapses, and she said, "Oh, what's that? Sounds painful." She's brilliant. Right, battery change time. Let's switch the controller off as well. Hyperlapse, waypoints, click on there, click on the piece of paper, and let's load that in. All the settings are the same. Right, let's see what it does. Now, we were looking for it to get to a height of about 59 meters, if I can remember correctly. The gimbal seems to be rather high. Oh, there's a train going past as well. I'm going to miss that. Right, it started. I'm going to let that complete and see if that gets to the same position. Then we can compare the two. But this is looking promising. It's quite cool, didn't have to move. Looks like it's working. But just as a double check and to appease my editor, thank you, I shot the same sunset 5 days apart using the same hyperlapse waypoint mission. It kind of gets it right, but as with the height being slightly different up on the hill, the angle is slightly different between the 2 different shots. In conclusion, I'd say that whilst it's not entirely accurate, It seems like this is one of the known issues that DJI has corrected. Whilst filming some B-roll of me hovering my thumb over the pause button, I thought, well, I'll send it up for a sunset hyperlapse because it was that time of day. And unfortunately, it didn't go well. The drone started flying up to over 100 meters, then 110. Then the hyperlapse aborted because I hit 120 meters. So I brought it back down again, tried again, and the same happened again. So unfortunately, it does seem that it is still balked. You may get it to work, but it is still unreliable. Quite disappointing. That was a bloody waste of time. By the way, I know you're awesome. You're watching this video, so you must be. But if you want some extra awesome points and you're finding this video useful, please hit the like button. Also consider subscribing and hitting notifications. The channel is coming up to a big milestone soon, and I'd love you to be a part of it. Thanks a lot. Right, so wait a minute, which Amok am I? Your last weekend's Amok. Amok. All right, thanks. I'm going to do an experiment using this ball, which I found in my back garden after a storm, and this absolutely hilarious cone that I was given about 8 years ago for Christmas. I'm going to put the ball just here and the cone about 10 meters that way. 2. Then I'm going to take off, stick the drone 20 meters in the air and initiate Waypoints Hyperlapse. I'm going to bring the gimbal all the way down so that I can see the ball for the first waypoint. And I'm going to bring the drone down to 10 meters and set the first waypoint. All in the center, let's set that waypoint. Then I'm going to fly out to where the cone is. Where's the cone? Bit further on, mate. There it is. Right, let's put the cone in the center and add that as a second waypoint. And let's go. So it's coming back to the football, maintaining 10 meters. Got the football roughly in the center. Now we've just got to wait for it to get to the cone. I will speed this bit up. It's going to be a piss boring hyperlapse, but this is just as an experiment. You can see there that that is over the cone now. It found it. You can always expect to see some variance there, just by a few centimeters. Let's bring it back in now though. Bicycle just came past and kind of startled me a bit. I've taken the battery out, switched the controller off. I'm going to wait for about 10 minutes just to make sure any sort of cache is absolutely clear. And then I'm going to move about 10 meters that way, put a new battery in and start off that hyperlapse again. 1, 2. I'm going to leave the ball and the cone where they were. And I'm going to test what happens when you move the takeoff point. We're looking for the waypoints to be with the ball in the center and the cone in the center at the end of it. We're also looking for it to be at the same altitude. Right, it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to take off, take it to 20 meters again, and then initiate that same waypoint hyperlapse. Click on that drop down and then click on the little notepad and then select this, which is what I did just now, and hit go. And let's see what happens.
Aircraft flying to the first waypoint.
It's descending. It's come to 8.7 meters. It's got the ball kind of in the ballpark. Can I say that? Now let's see where it gets to with the cone. I forgot to check whether it was looking at the cone or not. Oh, crikey. Let's take that battery out and we'll put one more battery in and do one more test. Shall we see what random height it comes through at now? We've gone to 7.5 meters now as well. Oh, thank you, love. Hyperlapse is ready to complete. Good. That'd be a really interesting hyperlapse. Go on, I'll show you it. It's 2 seconds long. Should be in this square here. It's not even there. I keep forgetting it's going over there. Right, gonna have to try and do this with the Mini 3 Pro and the Air 3 now. Oh, joy. Don't worry, I'm not going to put you through all of that. Suffice it to say, the results were rather random. The Mini 3 Pro was fairly accurate with its positioning, but it descended to a height of just 2.6 meters. The DJI Flip was bang on 10 meters with its first attempt, but way off with its positioning. I ran the test again and it came in at 8.8 meters. I did a third test with the Flip, completely changing the takeoff position and hand launching it, and it started the hyperlapse at a height of 9.9 meters, which is weird because if it calculates its altitude based on where it takes off from, it should have been at a height of about 11 meters. Weirdly, the positioning was better. The Air 3 was the best of them. I flew the test 3 times with that at 30 meters because it was just too noisy at 10, and each test hit its mark as far as positioning was concerned and was within 1 meter in its altitude. I had a theory that all of the waypoints that were saved were relational to where the drone was at the time when you initiated the waypoint hyperlapse function. So it doesn't seem like that is an issue, but we do seem to have an issue with the altitude. I've trawled a bunch of the forums and there are various theories saying it's something to do with barometric pressure. I've done both these flights at the same time virtually. Can't imagine there would be a sudden drop in barometric pressure that would make a difference to the altitude. I think what's happened is that there's been a little bit of lack of communication at DJI. In the hyperlapse department, you've got Dave, and he was working on programmable hyperlapse points and decided to call them Hyperlapse Waypoints. In the conventional waypoints department, you've got Julie, and she's created waypoints that you can use with videos, and she's called them waypoints. And then there's Imogen, who writes the manual and has been looking at all of these functions and has said, well, that's waypoints, and with conventional waypoints you can rerun them. So I'm going to say whatever it says in the manual. What does it say in the manual? Huh? Oh, a waypoint flight route can be saved and repeated. Thanks.
That's bollocks. No, go on.
So I'm pretty sure that hyperlapse waypoints are not really meant to be repeatable. So I've come down to a spot near the road and I'm going to run a standard waypoint mission, and I'm going to use timed photos with it. Now, some of you probably guessed what I was going to do already. So let's get her up there and shoot this. Now, the route that I've programmed in goes from about 100 meters down to 70 meters. So I'm just going to get her up to 100 meters. I've programmed in a point of interest, which is the roundabout. I'm going to put this into photo mode. Of course, we're going to want to bring the shutter speed right down. Perfect. Now, the other thing we've got to do is just go into here and check that the photos are set to 4:3. That way, when we get into the edit, we'll have a little bit more to play with. My white balance is fine, and let's pull in the waypoint mission. So this is what I created earlier. Loaded that in. You can see I'm quite near the first waypoint. And let's just bring the speed up to 0.4, 14 minutes 31. That should be plenty. Now, before I hit go, I'm going to go into my photos, select timed shot, and we're going to go for a 2-second interval on here. Hit next on there and go. Double check it's not going to do anything weird. We'll start our photos. There we go, just onto the first waypoint. So we've got 16 minutes left and I just need to leave that running. Now this is going to come down in height to about 70 meters as it goes around the roundabout, and then as it comes back, still facing the roundabout, goes back up to about 110 meters. I'll run exactly the same waypoints again with exactly the same settings, and we can compare the two. We're on about 8:37 at the moment, and the total estimated time is 16 minutes. So that's about 8 minutes left, and we've got 13 minutes worth of battery. There we go, perfect. Once you've got your drone home, download your photos into a folder on your computer and then batch rename the files to Hyperlapse by sorting them by file name, selecting all of them, and then change the name of the first photo. The rest will renumber in sequence. I don't know if it's done the same way on a Mac, but if not, you could probably get one of your servants to rename all of the files. Once everything's been renamed, you can grab the entire folder and drag it onto your timeline in Davinci Resolve, and it creates that hyperlapse for you. And as I've shown in previous videos, we can go into this and we can just check what we've got here. We've got a little bit at the beginning that we're just going to edit off. So that was before the waypoint started. Take the clip, go down to stabilization. Normally I use perspective, but I found for this using translation was better. Put your smoothness all the way up to 1 and hit stabilize. That'll take a little bit of time to do that depending on how powerful your computer is. There we go. And you can see it's cropped in slightly, but let's play this now. This is looking pretty good. Just zoom to bring the sides of the picture in, and you can use your Y-axis to change the position there, should you wish to. Here's both of the sequences I took side by side, and you can probably see that I should have used a slower global speed for the flight, as it is a little bit jarring and slightly blurry on the buildings. But if you stick to about 0.2 meters per second and make your movements in your waypoint missions very slow, you should get better results than I did. It works very well with 2-point waypoint missions for sunsets. So with the DJI Mini 3 Pro, Mini 4 Pro and DJI Flip, under very specific circumstances, you can reuse waypoint hyperlapses, but don't trust it. You could end up with the drone going into orbit or trying to bury itself in the ground. Let's hope they fix it on the Mini 5 Pro. Thanks for sticking around this far. If you want to see a deep dive into how waypoint missions work, have a look at this video here. And if you want to see what the YouTube hobbits think you're going to enjoy watching, have a look at this here. Bye.